On Sunday, the 7-2 Cardinals take on the 8-1 Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be a good one. The Cardinals are currently in first place in their division, and according to FPI, they are right behind the Patriots with a 25% chance to win the Super Bowl. Skip, are the Arizona Cardinals over or underrated?
Stephen A., my man Patrick Peterson will not like me saying this. My man Larry Fitzgerald will not like me saying this. I'm not sold, so I got to go overrated. The truth is, in my mind, they're not yet rated because I'm not sure what they are or are not. Because going into the Seattle game, the combined record right now of the teams they had played going into that game, teams they had beaten, I should say, was 17-39.
Okay.
So they had also lost at home to St. Louis, 24-22. St. Louis is now 4-5. They had lost at Pittsburgh, 25-13. Pittsburgh is now the only team with a winning record they have played so far, Pittsburgh being only 6-4. They obviously had a huge win at Seattle, which dropped Seattle to 4-5. We all know, we've talked and talked it to death, that Seattle has post-Super Bowl problems. You have enumerated many of them. 4-5. So I look at the resume of the Arizona Cardinals and I say, I don't know. I can't buy into this, even though Carson Palmer is having an all-time great year. Not quite a Tom Brady year, but Brady might be having the greatest year ever. But Carson Palmer is running away with the QBR race this year, just the way Tony Romo ran away with it last year. This team is second in the NFL in scoring and 10th in points allowed. It's really good on defense. Ball hawks all around on defense. Honey Badger, we know what they can do. They can create havoc. But I'm still saying you have played who? I don't know, because Cincinnati is coming to town. That team, despite its loss, terrible loss on Monday night, has a winning record. So they're coming on Sunday night. Then you have to go to St. Louis. You got to play Minnesota at home. You got to go to Philly for what that's worth. You got Green Bay. And then you got Seattle at home. So maybe I'll find out. Maybe I'll be sold down the stretch. But as of right now, I got to go overrated.
If I'm Larry Fitzgerald, if I'm Carson Palmer, if I'm Bruce Arians, I'm very disgusted with you. And the reason I'm very disgusted with you, if I'm them, is because if they were the Dallas Cowboys, you wouldn't be calling them overrated. The fact of the matter is, look at Carson Palmer.
Well, I'm a fan.
I know that.
Okay, well, that's like a bad analogy.
But it's not a bad analogy, because even though you're a fan, you also talk about how I'm the one person to be objective up here. So even with your fandom, you find a way to be objective when it comes to analyzing, not rooting for, but analyzing a team. You look at Carson Palmer.
Wait a second. That's not fair, because I told you, if my Cowboys had stayed healthy, they'd be the best team in the NFC. That's what I think.
No, what I'm saying is that if you had a quarterback, which you did, that's got a QBR 82. And by the way, you got two running backs averaging over 4 yards a carry, because even though Andre Ellington is back and he just got back because he wasn't healthy, Chris Johnson filled in admirably and has been playing a standout season. You got Fitzgerald in the slot at times. You got John Brown. You got Gresham. You got Michael Floyd. So on the offensive side of the ball, you got a running attack. You got a passing attack. You got a quarterback that's only lost 2 games as a starting quarterback since he's been there.
And you have beaten whom?
I understand that, but wait a minute. But we thought Seattle was going to be better than what they were this year. We thought St. Louis was going to be better. Now, granted, they really stuck up the joint against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Michael Vick and those boys. We expected Landry Jones came in. We expected them to put forth a better performance. But when we look at this defense, playmakers all over the place. Their secondary is big time with Peterson, with the Honey Badger, with Rashad Johnson and those boys, Buchanan and them. Listen, I like what I'm seeing, and then I look at them, and I look at these wins. They beat the Bears 48-23. They beat, San Francisco, obviously. They beat Detroit, They beat Baltimore. They beat Cleveland. I'm just saying. But what I'm saying to you is, when they beat Seattle, they didn't beat Seattle 16-13. They dropped 39 on a Legion of Boom. I got to pay attention to that. I got to sit up there and look at them and go like this. Do I think that Arizona is going to win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think they can? Absolutely. Do I think they could go in Carolina and win a playoff game? I'm not saying they'll do it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did it. It wouldn't surprise me if they met New England in the Super Bowl either. They're good enough, they're talented enough where we should never associate the words overrated to this team this season. Carolina can play, and I can't say enough about how proud I am of the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu. This brother comes into the league. We know he had some issues. You haven't heard a thing since, and he's been flat out balling. He belongs on this level. This dude is special.
Okay, but
I like what I'm seeing.
I do too, but when you say they're not overrated, I'm rating them on a scale of FPI, our statistic, that says they're the best team in the NFC. They have the best chance of going to the Super Bowl. I'm saying I'm not seeing that.
But check this out. Points win games, but defense wins championships. And when we talk about a defense, we're looking at Carolina. And the way Carolina's playing defense, Seattle is sort of falling off a little bit, okay? But let's look at the NFC, Skip. Other than Carolina,
it's pretty awful.
I mean, are you kidding me? You got the NFC East, pick of the litter, the NFC North, whatever. I mean, they can beat anybody. So it remains to be seen. They're not overrated.
They're not overrated. Anybody, but they haven't yet.
But they're not overrated.
We'll see Sunday if they beat the Bengals. They're favored by 5. I can't wait for this game.
We'll see
Sunday
that.
Night Football.
We'll see what happens.
Up next, Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked like the MVP caliber QB of old, but is the real problem off the field. We'll explain when we come back.
First Take is presented by Bass Pro Shops. Time passes. Hold on to Christmas. And in part by Alka-Seltzer Plus Day Cold and Flu. And Pep Boys. Trust the boys to get you there.
Our Rob Domofsky, a Packers beat writer, suggested that Rodgers' girlfriend, Olivia Munn, could be one of 5 possible reasons for his performance as of late and Green Bay's struggles overall. After he made that claim, several Packers fans jumped on the bandwagon. Munn tweeted this response to Domofsky: "Playing it fast and loose with the journalism. Your professional skills are lacking. You must be having personal problems at home."
Ouch.
What a shot.
Drop the mic. Stephen A. She wasn't playing.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her, and I wouldn't blame her for telling any fan that feels that way to go to hell. Let me tell you something right now. Olivia Munn is an asset. She is not a liability. I'm sorry. And if that is what y'all definition of a distraction is, Aaron Rodgers, you go right ahead and be distracted, bro. Nobody should have a problem with Olivia Munn. She is not the problem. Slow receivers that can't get open are the problem.
I have no idea what's going on in that relationship, but I'm here to tell you, my Cowboy sources told me that Tony Romo, when he had Jessica Simpson in his life, that she was a huge distraction for him, that his off-the-field life became chaotic with her in the middle of it.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, but
They're
Jessica Simpson, like the Kardashians, no disrespect, they could be distractions. Olivia Munn has been nothing but class personified. She seems like a wonderful woman, a wonderful actress. She's an asset to Aaron Rodgers.
Hysterical and very smart.
And I'm sure he would agree with it. Aaron Rodgers, do your thing. Don't you listen to that. Don't you listen to it. Don't you listen to it at all.
Can they breathe?
At all.
See you guys tomorrow. It's Friday Eve. Woohoo!
I mean, this is unbelievable. You need to show him more respect. And you can say that nonsensical stuff, and then to top that off, you're moody. I'm not joking, bro.